Welcome back to NFL Playoff Edition. Wild Card Weekend is upon us. Welcome back to the show where we talk about how our NFHell teams are in hell. Some of us made the playoffs, some of us didn't. We talk about last week's games, the news, all that jazz. I'm your host, Midwest Wet, joined by James Marfs, Chief Jazz,
Good luck, Gobo. Good luck. Congrats.
and Gobo. Thanks for being here. Again, we basically go on NFL.com. That's where we go down the line. We like to start off every show to kind of NFL. These kids, these cats are in, college football, college playoff. Ended Michigan won a championship. I feel like this is to me. It's like, hey, we can just do whatever we want. It doesn't matter if we cheat. We can still win because Harbaugh is going to be gone, and a few years from now, people will forget. They'll strip him of the thing. Doesn't matter. Dames.
I don't really have a problem with Harbaugh, guys. I think the things that the NCAA are going to put up against him are super petty. And the more they push him, the more likely he is to just say, I'm out. I don't need this. And I'm going to go make $20 million somewhere else. This game hurt for me because I think the last time we were there, we shared the title with Nebraska, which weird oddly is where I live now. Uh, but that was 93, 91, 93. But I I'm looking at this and I'm thinking before the game, this would be 22 consecutive victories for Washington. That's not even like a real thing that a team can do. So I of course was nervous. Yeah, we have a high-powered offense. We have the best offensive line in the country, but our defense, you guys, we had 5 consecutive stops in this game in the second half, and that's something we hadn't done all year. And our offense that's so high-powered could not. I mean, in any other game in this season, they would have taken it over. So I guess what I'm saying is the team that I watched all year was not the team that showed up. And Michigan, those players were ready to play. They were ready to play, and our team just was not ready to play. That's what it came down to. I mean, how many 40-plus yard runs have you got? There was 3 40-plus yard runs in this game. 2 of them were
Yeah.
touchdowns. Unacceptable.
Big
Right.
Ten, bro. Big Ten.
Well,
I
Washington.
hope Harbaugh. I hope Harbaugh goes to the Raiders and Antonio Pierce comes back home. That's all I have to say about that.
Anybody have any hopes of where Harbaugh goes?
The Raiders. I just said it.
Well, besides, I
I
mean,
mean, New England.
I think he's going to New England because I also saw, I swear, I could be wrong, but
Vrabel.
they
Vrabel,
showed,
bro. Vrabel.
I
they,
like
sh
Vrabel in New England. That makes more
yeah.
sense
Vrabel
than Harbaugh.
makes sense.
Kraft, I think, was at the national title game with the
I
other
mean, yeah,
one.
Harbaugh's got
Or I
that
just,
California connection. He could end up in LA
Here's the
again.
problem.
Or no, he's in San
I
Francisco.
honestly think it's Chargers or nothing. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they have a quarterback in place that is going to be there for the next decade. They have a lot of different things that he can maneuver once he gets there, but he's got the main piece. And that's always been his thing. I don't see him going to the Raiders because they're stuck with Jimmy G for another 2 years. They signed him for 3 years, you guys. I mean,
they,
there's
Aiden
probably
O'Connell.
ways out of it. If you can get out of Russell Wilson's contract, there's definitely ways out of it,
I
but
was like, the
it's not an
Raiders will
ideal
maybe run up
situation.
Garoppolo.
It's
Yeah.
an ideal
Yes.
city, but it's not an ideal situation for him.
It's not Justin Herbert, no.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I just feel it's San Diego or I guess LA. I shouldn't keep saying San
I
Diego.
mean, maybe
I'll always
maybe
be-
Harbaugh likes, the Bunny Ranch or somewhere down in Vegas, and he needs to move there to
Well, LA is
get his,
close to
get his
that.
rocks off legally. I mean, yeah, I guess it's only a 3 hour drive or some shit, right?
it's like a
So it'll
30
definitely be interesting to see what happens now that this is done. He's won it. His players are graduating, and I don't see a strong enough team for them to get back to where
He's
they were.
not coming back to college.
15-0. Was it 15-0?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
No, he's
that's
not coming back. I'm just
that's
going to say it
tough.
right now because all these allegations, all this bullshit, like you said, even if he's innocent and didn't do it, they're still going to keep talking about it all the time. He's just like you said, get out of here, pay me 20 million. He's
Well,
been a successful coach every.
he absolutely did do everything that they're going to put sanctions on. But I mean, is it I mean, is it really a big deal? It's not like it's not like what people are projecting out there. And I'm not even a fan of Harbaugh. I absolutely dislike him in a lot of ways, but I think the NCAA is very petty, and I think they're going to put so much pressure on him that he's going to walk. And I think it'll be San Diego or LA.
Right. And so we kind of slide into coaching changes in the NFL since last week of the season. Vrabel out in Tennessee, Riverboat Ron out as Commanders, and Arthur Smith out for the Falcons. Maybe Vrabel's a little bit of a surprise. Wasn't really sure. No, you're not surprised by
That's
that?
one I was pretty sure of because
Yeah.
I'm just looking at, I mean, it took him forever to start the rookie quarterback. Like 6, 7 weeks, I think he went with Tannehill. Like,
Yeah, we were all calling for it like after
yeah, we were like, what are you
one
doing,
week.
bro?
Like, what is he doing here? Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be picked up somewhere else because he has done some things without a real good quarterback. I mean, Tannehill's the best he's had. They're fishing a little bit, going for Willis and then Levis, and now you got three guys. If you got three guys, you got no guys. So whoever's going to come in there and probably clean house and start with their own quarterback, or they'll find someone that likes Levis. But they did knock out the Jags, so he got to leave on that. Like Ricky said, predicted the old swan song. So bye Vrabel, going to New England.
Can we talk about New England for a second?
Yeah.
Fuck New England. I
I
mean, sure.
honestly
Do we have to? Yeah.
heard that Bill B is willing to give up some of his responsibilities in play calling and personnel and all that kind of like, those kinds of things to remain. Um, he's a smooth talker, dude. He might go in there and be like, "Look, we have a really high draft pick this year. Here's my plan." And I would not be at all surprised if he's there next year.
Oh, he's like just a operations manager. Like he gets
Does
to roam around, do
everything.
whatever he
Yeah.
wants, but doesn't really have any responsibility. That'd be kind of cool. Liaison,
I mean, he'd still be the coach though. The
Yeah.
assistant head coach, or like just head coach.
No, I think he'll still be head coach.
Okay, just that's
I'm should he be? No. He should be let go. He should have
he
been let
should
go
be. He
yesterday.
should go. He should go full circle and back to the old Giants defensive coordinator job. Just take it real easy. Just chill. Just in your career as a D coordinator, man, get some sleep, bro. You don't need all those hours. Take a couple hours off.
Does
a
anybody
big
No,
feel that? Does anybody
challenge.
feel that, or is everybody like pretty certain he's gone?
He's
I
gone.
think he's gone. But I have heard what you're saying. I mean, it's possible. He had been there forever. Won Super
What did he,
Bowls.
dude? He's literally ran. No offense to like whatever. Not actually, it is offense. Brady left. They have been shit, dude. They have literally just slowly went down, and they're not. Who do they have at quarterback? Who do they?
That's the, that's why, because they don't have anyone at quarterback. That's the point. Yeah, like
Well,
I
he.
mean, good
Oh,
luck.
yeah,
I mean,
Mac Jones.
even a genius can't make Mac Jones Tom Brady. So, I mean, it's got to be a little bit of both ways. It's always a little gray, whichever way you go.
Yeah. And let's see here. They have
Other coaching changes we want to talk about?
the third pick of the draft, you guys.
Commanders.
That's a quarterback. If he can convince them that
That is a
So,
quarterback.
I mean, you think New England is going to trade with Chicago? They got the cap space,
They can
I mean,
jump up. They can jump up to one and pick who they want.
we're
and then
still
that
waiting
way
to see,
Chicago can take Harrison at 3.
we're still waiting to see what the Bears are going to do with the first pick. But
Yeah.
if you're telling me that Bill Belichick comes into the Kraft's office with a plan to trade up to get the number one pick and draft Caleb Williams, who else do you want coaching that kid? I mean, I'd be like, all right,
I don't know. He's
we'll give you
completely
2 years.
unproven in the NFL. I mean, even though he's, potentially this generational talent, like you put him in the wrong system, you get him beat up, it's going to be like Andrew Luck all over again.
It's true, but the Patriots, I don't think, are the wrong organization. I think they've been pretty sound over the years.
Yeah. I think.
Are they? Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Tom Brady got him out of a lot of jams.
when you see Belichick or when you see Brady leave and then them fail, you start to question the times catching up to him. Can he keep up with the times? It's not also just a matter of what has worked, but adaptability. And obviously, he's been able to do that for a long time. But at a certain point, his way of teaching and coaching might the generation that strives in that might be fading, and maybe he is done.
Well, and Jess, to your point, it's double fold when you watch Brady go on and win a Super Bowl the next year with somebody else.
Right. Yeah.
That's not to say they needed each other. That's to say, no, this guy did this for this guy.
Brady's that
I
good.
mean,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like on the surface, at least.
Yep.
Well, I mean, if we look at the other coach, who was the coach that coached Brady in Tampa Bay? No one cares. I mean, we know Bruce Arians, but
Arians.
yeah, but no one else cares. Why? Because do we consider him the GOAT, a great coach? No. So then maybe say Belichick isn't the great coach because he had fucking Brady.
Well, Arians was a pretty damn good coach
A
before he
decent
got Brady,
coach.
though, too.
Yeah, the decent coach.
Actually, he's a good offensive-minded coach anyway. Anyway, in other coaching news, yes, I'm going to talk about this. The Giants fired special teams coach. Long overdue. You guys heard me talking about it week 4, 5, and 6 when they had fucking drop this, muff that, bullshit this, and somehow we don't fire people in season. He's gone good. O-line coach obviously should have been fired at some point in season. He's gone. And the crazy thing is the next day, 2 guys come out from the team and say they've been told they're not coming back. Our top 2 percentage special teams players. So they must have either had the special teams coaches back or they just fucking, for some reason, said, you guys you don't even get to come back at all. You're just gone, which was kind of strange. And then, so when Wink Martindale came over to New York, defensive coordinator 2 years ago, he brought the Wilkins brothers from Baltimore. Outside linebackers coach and defensive assistant. Okay. Wink comes into work. Dave's fired those 2 guys without even talking to Wink. And yes, you're going to have the 2 arguments of he's the head coach. He can do what he wants. Dude, if I'm the leader of the defense and I'm the defensive coordinator and you don't come talk to me and tell me why or what's going on, you guys under me, that's going to fucking piss me off, in which it did to Wink. Wink leaves the facility. Wink is not fired, and Wink has not resigned yet. Wink is still the Giants' defensive coordinator, dude. There's just crazy shit going on where Daboll and Wink got this thing going, and now he's just fired his fucking guys. And now the reason they say Wink won't resign is because he gets paid if he gets fired, but if he resigns, he doesn't. So there's no reason for him to resign. And now we're in just a stupid fucking mess where he could be like, well, I'm just going to sit here until you guys pay me to leave, or you're going to miss out on all the defensive coordinators that you want because I'm sitting in this position because you fired my fucking guys without even talking to me. What are you guys' thoughts on that? It's a head coach. Should he do that? Can he? I mean, can he? Yes. Should he? But if I'm part of a team where I'm in almost every meeting with the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and the coach, and he's firing my guys, I'm going to be heated. I agree with Wink on this one. Anyone?
I mean, you're not wrong. Something like when the Giants have as catastrophic of a season as they had last year, like people have to get fired. And yeah, I don't think you can really put it completely on your head coach. And so yeah, you gotta make some changes. There was personnel issue. I think it's interesting that they return a punt for a touchdown immediately before he gets fired. So it's like the crowning achievement of a special teams coach. But yeah, I mean,
Dude, and I mean, yeah, I'm good with the O line and the special teams coach, but then when like our defense was not the problem. I mean, the stats are the greatest because you're on the field all the fucking time because your offense sucks. But when you watch the games, the defense was not the problem 9 out of 10 times. But
I mean, I could like there's other issues there because they were arguing during the season on the field, on the sideline, and then they tried to say, "Oh, that's how we converse." No, it's not. No, it's not. And then now you have this guy firing this guy's friends, and then he's not. Obviously, there's some shit going down. Just get rid of Wink then if you're going to fire all of his coworkers. Just fire him. I don't understand why, unless they told Dayball somebody has to take the blame, and then he didn't want to fire Wink, and so he fired those two to help him. Maybe he's
Yeah,
like, I'm
you
going to
got to
keep.
have that.
We got to get rid of these guys.
You got to have that conversation. That's my point. You can have the conversation with Wink before you do this. Hey, bro, I got to get rid of 2 defensive assistants. Who are they? No, I'm getting rid of the 2 guys you brought from Baltimore with you.
But I mean, what's the difference if he tells them or not? They still get fired.
Well, he can either defend them or at least, he wants the reason. Like just because you're going to get blindsided by the media, like if you're a good organization, like if I'm working, I should be able to go to my plant manager, my department manager and have that. And the people at the top of the ring like that, I think should be involved, but obviously they weren't and now it's an ugly situation. So if he would have done it the right way, opinion, which is talking to the defensive coordinator, you're firing his people that directly report to him. So a little respect for the conversation. But then Wink, on the other hand, a little respect. You don't just disappear now, and now we don't know what the fuck's going on. So chaos in New York.
They
Come
went
on,
Yeah.
the
Jails.
other way.
NFL. Some other teams that are NFL, I would say, kind of going into the playoffs, especially a lot of people's favorite team going in, people rooting for the Lions. They ruined, we talked about this a little bit earlier, Gobo. They went into Minnesota trying to play flex, do whatever. And Laporta's now hurt.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell that was. I love it, to be honest. I think that there was an off chance. Not that Laporta got hurt. I'm happy that the Lions played balls to the walls. Give me a second.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just saying, like, okay, so the Lions had no reason to win this game, and the Vikings needed to lose, and the off chance the Packers lose to the Bears last week, there was some statistical possibility that the Packers still make the playoffs with a loss, but the Vikings needed to lose. Doesn't matter. Yeah, the Lions went in there in a meaningless game just to flex their cocks, and it cost them the best tight end in the league. So, you know what?
Hey, hold on. Hold on. They could have got the number 2 seed if 2 things happened, which one of them did. But they could have got the 2 seed. So there was something to play for, but the odds they were not in their favor.
I don't think the 2 seed is that advantageous. Like, you don't get a bye, you already have a home game. I don't understand why you would play for it.
Did you get 2 home games or not?
Depends on how the seedings fall in. Yeah,
Right, yeah.
They would because they're not playing San Francisco in the second round.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He wouldn't allow
But 2
that.
home games, I think that's worth it, especially for someone like Dallas to get the 2 seed and they've won 15 straight home games. I mean, definitely advantageous for them. But yeah, losing the best tight end is obviously a big hit. You'd rather play on the road than at home without your best tight end. So
Well, that and you don't want to be fucking flying into Philly in the fucking 30 degrees. You could be in a temperature controlled dome where everything favors you, you know?
True, true. TJ Watt, Steelers snuck in the playoffs, aren't going to have their best defensive player. If you were watching at home, it was basically friendly fire. His own guy kind of hit him in the air, moved his knee, and he was pissed when he hit the ground. You could tell he was hurt. And then he walked off. But bad news, I feel like he'll come back if they make the Super Bowl, which
I really hate injuries, you guys, especially in the playoffs.
sounds like it's week to week. So he possibly could be back in 2 weeks. But yeah, typically it's 2 to 3 week thing, I think.
right.
I know he wants to play in this game, but
Is Pittsburgh the least exciting team in the playoffs?
oh yeah,
Yes.
especially without him now. Without him, Mason Rudolph handing the ball off
The
13,
Bucks, the
18.
Bucks, the Browns, the Steelers. Fuck, there's a lot of boring teams in the AFC.
Browns are not boring.
I
I
don't think the Browns are
don't know if
boring
you've
at
not
all.
been watching them, but they are electric. They're
Boring.
fun to watch, dude.
Miles Garrett's cool.
And one of the teams, another team in the playoffs, AJ Brown. Sounds like he's day to day, week to week. Knee as well went down against the Giants. Were they actually? They were playing for the 2 seed. Is what were they playing for?
They were playing for the division.
Division.
Vision, who?
Yeah, if
If
they would have won,
if Dallas were
they got the vision.
And the
so
2 seed. And the division and the 2 seed.
I know.
so
Now they got to play on the road.
hopefully he's all right. So anyway, those injuries, like we say, we like to see high performing football with all the good players. Hopefully, moving forward in this week, we have that. That brings us to our next part. Right after the news, we like to tell some truths. I don't know if it's technically our last truth, kind of going into next season, what we want to do. James, Mark, we're going to let you start off up in the northwest Seattle area. Your final.
Yeah, guys. I I watched the game on Sunday. Not really. I didn't really pay attention to the Packers Bears because I figure it's destiny. Whatever will happen, will happen. I got pretty cocky about the Bears' chances though on the last show. However, we went into Arizona and I left watching that game angry. And it's not because we didn't make the playoffs. It's not because the Packers went and did what they needed to do. That's not why. You guys, it took a Hall of Fame kicker who's made 400 plus career field goals in his life to miss two in the fourth quarter, including one at the last second, for us to take this game against the Arizona Cardinals with your life on the line, essentially. Now we didn't find out until like 4 minutes left in the game that the Packers had done it. So you still had 50 plus minutes, 55 minutes to state your case, and they just didn't do it. Our defense is problematic at best. But what really bothered me was Tariq Woolen at the end of this game, when the kick was missed, he grabbed his fucking nuts and was like, suck it to the other players. And I'm just like, this is not championship level football. This is like immature garbage. And Devin, what's Devin Bush, the former Pittsburgh Steeler, was John with the other team when he like basically Kyler Murray slid and he hit him illegally and he didn't get called. And he's looking back and he was like, fuck you, fuck you. And Bobby Wagner just grabbed him and said, dude, shut the fuck up. Like seriously, like he grabbed him and he grabbed him by his face. He's like, shut the fuck up. And like that Bobby Wagner he might go down as my favorite Seahawk of all time because he is the consummate professional. This guy had 183 tackles this season to lead the league, career high, uh, franchise record, and he's in year 12, and he's still playing at that level, and he's still like trying to hold these young kids accountable. And then we had guys smoking cigars in the locker room after the game. Now they say it's because Julian Love just had a child and made the Pro Bowl. Well, that was last week. You had last week to celebrate that. I mean, his kid's like 3 weeks old now. Like you're celebrating after you won the last game of the season.
Yeah, good job, kid.
Like this is and Bobby Wagner is just like it's youth, dude. And I'm just looking at Pete Carroll now, and my truth is like, what the fuck is going on here? Pete Carroll says he's coming back. We knew that was going to happen. He says he loves these guys. But when is he going to have a culture that actually holds people accountable for stupidity? Because I saw it all year long. And I get these kids are young, but like I absolutely don't even want Tariq Woolen on my team anymore. Like after his performance this season in succession with last season, which was amazing, he's like a completely different, like entitled punk ass bitch.
Got his fucking money.
And I I hope he can bounce back and have like a better life career. I don't know if he's unhappy, whatever, but the truth of the matter is, you guys, this team has a lot to fix. And I don't see them spending the first round capital to get a quarterback, which I mean, I love Geno Smith, but he's not a long-term solution. And if Carroll thinks he's going to ride out the rest of his career with him, then we're just going to be 9-8 every year or eight,
Ooh.
which I mean, I grew up, you guys, with like 6 years in a row, the Seahawks were 8-8, and I was just like, this sucks, dude. Like, are we? That's so unfulfilling being like 500.
At least if you suck, you get a good draft pick.
Right.
Right, exactly. And it's like,
And a new coach usually.
yeah.
Yeah. New
And
shit,
then,
new shit every once in a while.
I've said it before on this show. The one year we were 2-14, the one team we beat that was the other 2-14 team, which was the Patriots, they got Drew Bledsoe. We got Rick Myrer. So it's a story of a franchise with bad luck. But Pete Carroll's got to pull it together. Otherwise, I'm going to jump off this train sooner than later. That's the truth.
All right. Thank you. Make sure you're telling us your truth at home. I know it's the end of the season. What you look forward to, what you maybe need to happen for your team. Gobo, Packers, playoff team. Truth.
Well, just bask in this for a moment here, gentlemen. Um, my truth is my like blind pessimism about this season was for nothing. They figured it out. Um, I was the only one at the beginning of the season to be like, you know what? My team sucks. I have no expectations. Every one of you guys was like playoff bound, reaching for the skies. And here we are. And I don't care. We could lose to the Cowboys by 100 points. And I feel like this season was a success. So, I don't know why. I feel really good about the Packers going forward. Um, Jordan Love, I don't know. I mean, Aaron Rodgers had a pretty pedestrian season his first year as a starter, and we saw how his career ended up. So, I mean, if luckily, if you guys don't fire me from the show after this episode, um, we can talk about Jordan Love when he goes to finishes his career with the Giants as a Hall of Famer in 12 years. So that's my truth is you know what that was a sweet win.
Can I throw a
And
little bit of truth on top of yours? Are we
you
allowed to
want
do that? Yeah, I looked at the
Yes,
numbers,
sir.
guys.
to
I
do it,
looked at the
man.
numbers. So Aaron Rodgers replaced Hall of Famer Brett Favre. We all know that. And then he
Mhm.
went on to have a Hall of Fame career after sitting for 2 years, 3 years, whatever it was. You have Jordan. The Packers have a history of doing this now, sitting a guy and pretty much wasting 3 years of a rookie contract, which may or may not be smart. But they're also not throwing a guy out in the middle of, to the Wolves in year one and just seeing what sticks, like poor old Bryce Young. Or yeah, I mean, now I looked at the statistics. Jordan Love actually has very similar statistics in the passing game than Aaron Rodgers did in his first season, and he has a better record. Now, why is that? Why does that matter? It really doesn't. But if you look at the roster that Aaron Rodgers inherited, he was coming off an NFC Championship game. Uh, Jordan Love was not. He's coming off a loss to the Lions to completely defeat your season, and the rosters were just not comparable. So
Dude,
I'm
close.
arguing that the truth is what Jordan Love has done has been more than what Aaron Rodgers did in his rookie season, and he's your guy moving forward.
Can I add on to that truth?
Absolutely.
Fucking Jordan Love had 36 touchdown passes. Is that correct?
Something like that.
Not
I think
many.
32.
Or
32.
32.
36 sounded high.
It's really just what I want to add. It was the stats because I think he like led the league or something, or not in
Yeah,
passing
he led the league.
touchdowns. Yeah. So he led the league in 2023 passing touchdowns, and I mean it took 18 weeks, which is a lot of some of these records are getting broke because of that. But it's the new record, it's the new standard. So, fucking Packers, maybe some other team should take notice of the patience that they have with their investments. It's similar to real investing in the stock market. Everyone wants those fucking year one returns, and they're dumping them. They're dumping them. They're abusing them. They're fucking watching it too much, and you just got to get rid of it because they're sick of its little inconsistencies. But then when you look at it over 3, 4 years, holy fuck! Now Jordan Love knows the system before he goes in there. He knows his reads. It's like second nature. He can let all of his abilities come out because he's not thinking, and he's stronger because he's been in a pro workout system for 3 years. Like everything about him, he's at his peak of his life, and fuck, he balled out. So take some notes, Jets, Giants, a bunch of these teams that are always starting guys their first year and throwing them to the wolves. Sometimes it kicks you in the ass. Good luck, Gobo, and fuck
Thanks,
your
guys.
quarterback awesomeness.
I know. I'm sorry.
You're not in
Right.
hell.
Well, I
Yeah, I
mean,
don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. Yeah, I think we are firing you because you're never in hell.
I was gonna say, yeah. Well, you know what? Dame's team made the playoffs last. Oh, and yours.
I won a game.
Yeah.
let's
There's
talk
one
about
person.
somebody who's in NFL. Let's talk
I
about.
was gonna say, as Jails needs to fire all three of us.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
I mean, the thing is you guys are talking about dude. The most touchdowns ever in a Jet season by a quarterback is 31. That means Jordan Love in his first
Oh,
starting season threw more than any Jets quarterback ever in history, and the one guy we took from you threw zero, threw zero.
that's so sad.
That
So
is
my
like,
truth is this: is like losing all hope is freedom. This whole offseason for me is just going to be. Can't wait for the season. Let's stay healthy. Let's go. Hopefully things are going to work out. Because last year I bought in, I jizzing all over the place, buying jerseys, shirts. Oh my God, telling everybody I knew how good we were going to be, and then we weren't. And I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. So they win this year. Good job, Jets. But again, my track record with them is in NFL is 0 for the century. So over like a bunch of centuries, decades, fucking whatever you want to call it. That's my truth. Uh, green jacket, gold jacket, who gives a shit?
Gives a shit.
all right, my
But
truth. Unless anyone wants to talk about Jill's
no,
pathetic decade,
Yeah, I'm
centuries of.
sorry the Jets are so terrible. You do seem cursed.
NFL.
We've belabored that point over the last 18 weeks.
Guys,
I was like, yeah, I think
have
Joe
we?
actually sold his soul to the
I
devil.
was gonna say, haven't we already talked about Joel Namath literally sold his soul, and you will
Yeah.
never win a Super Bowl
Until he
and people like,
dies, which he's gonna live forever.
and then people like fucking our father, who was a rebel back in the day, they all were the Joe Namath fans because he was the cool dude, and your ancestors who did follow you, like you, be in misery till the end of NFL or your life. Sorry,
Okay.
brother. Told you to join the Giants numerous times now. Even though we're in hell, we always rebound. So, little Manning,
What's
I
your
think we're just
truth?
kind of waiting for little Manning. My
Come on,
truth,
I'll
my
get
truth,
to you.
guys. It's a good one for all of us. Week 18. It took 18 fucking weeks for all four of us to win in the same week. The
Yay!
champagne.
That's true.
Fuck the Dolphins. Pop the champagne. Let's go. Great weekend. I won my sixth fantasy championship. I'm not in the playoffs. Like my Giants anxiety is gone. My fantasy anxiety is gone. I just get to be a fan of football. So my truth is, I love football. I get to sit back and enjoy the playoffs. I mean, I will be placing some responsible bets. That'll give me a little anxiety, but it'll be all right. And on to the draft, guys. Sixth pick. What are the rumors? Who are we going to be going after? We're going to get a number one receiver, another fucking O lineman, dumping the house on dimes, going quarterback, amped up for the draft already. So we'll just move on to the playoffs now. That's my truth. Let's go.
Man, I gotta say, I'm like a little jealous that you get to be so nonchalant
Free.
about the postseason. No, it's great. freedom.
Dude, he said that so condescendingly. Oh my God.
I'm not trying to be
Oh my
condescending. Do I
God.
look like I'm trying to be
Yeah.
condescending
You're
right
wearing a
now?
fucking crown.
You know why I'm wearing a fucking crown? It's because I'm the fucking king. My team's in the playoffs.
King Jeremy, King Gobo.
If they win, I'm wearing a fucking fur coat next week.
Oh man.
Hey
Whoa,
Joe,
that's Namath style, bro. You don't wanna sell your soul out for
Well,
just
I'm
one
not playing in the game, so it's a little
one
different.
playoff win.
One playoff with this fucking team. If we go to Arlington and beat the Cowboys, I'm buying a fur coat.
Let me tell you, the future, you're going to.
actually, the name of the show didn't come until after we had to sit here and listen to these two fucking ramble on about their teams. So, moving on from that, the truths. Thank you for all of you at home for playing along. We move on to the recap of week 18, which was
Oh
the
boy.
final week of the season.
Oh
G-Man
boy.
Jass 11-5. Top record of the week. Second place for the week, 10-6. Boom. Dames sitting around 500, bro. He just liked to. You playing?
I mean, look what I'm wearing, bro.
Yeah,
That's eternally
500.
8 and 8.
Oh,
Like you get eights tattooed on your cheeks.
Bro, I felt like you picked every single underdog, so I'm kind of surprised you were even 500.
Me too.
I know in Gobo, 7-9.
Let's go.
Oh,
Bringing up the rear.
oh.
So the team that goes to the playoffs, the guy like
Playing golf scores. No, that's fuck crown, remember?
yeah, crown.
I've
Dave, you're the
gotta
only
be
guy who
good
took
as long as it's pretty.
Dave, you're the only guy who took the opening weekend or the opening night. Saturday, there was no Thursday game. Pittsburgh, talked about it a little bit earlier. Watt gets hurt. Baltimore wasn't playing shit. Still was a pretty close game. Not gonna lie. I actually thought Baltimore was still gonna win. I was like, oh my God, Pittsburgh. Uh I think Dames, we all had Baltimore. You took Pittsburgh for the old
Oh, so I actually got one on you guys.
yeah,
I was
you
gonna
did good
say,
job.
yeah.
So anybody got anything to add to this game?
Guys, I do. I think Baltimore should really move on from Mark Andrews if they can after this year and give Isaiah Likely the full-time gig. Like, I feel like he's obviously a younger, more explosive guy at this point, and he's learned what he can from Andrews, and Andrews just seems to be injury prone. Either that or fucking implement a two tight end set, which they don't seem to do because they have all those other options. So get something
I
out of him
mean,
while you can.
it's a hard call with Zay Flowers, but like, yeah, a two tight end RPO option with Lamar, that sounds unstoppable. Like if both of those are solid tight ends, which they very much are.
I mean, and Beckham's gone next year. I think he's a 1 year deal. Dobbins could be
Yeah,
back.
Beckham is so fucking replaceable.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, not when he was with the Giants.
He had a good year though. I mean, he had a good year for
Yeah,
You
but
could
for
be
19
replaced by the
million,
fucking Ravens. It's like,
he is-
yeah, everyone had a good year.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I have a guy that I think is going to replace him there. I think Tyler Lockett will end up in Baltimore.
Oh, that'd be a good fit, I think.
I think it'd be a great fit. I would hate to lose him, but there's no way we're paying him 23 million bucks.
I was like, do the Ravens have that kind of cap space?
Yeah, I don't know if they do either.
get rid of Odell. He's like 19 million this year. I'm just saying.
Do you really? No shit.
Well, here's the thing: we're not going to trade him. We're going to cut him.
Odell was a 1 year. No, Odell was a 1 year, 15 million. That's what I'm just like. We can't pay them what Saquon what they're paying Odell when he means so much more to an offense. Who gives a fuck what position he is? So yeah, it was 15 million. But anyway,
Plus incentives.
Lockett's gonna get 20 then, right? Is that what you're saying? I mean, how old is he?
He's long in the tooth, and he had his worst
30?
season.
Somebody will trade for him. If you
Yeah.
cut him, like that's. I mean, how much of that cap space that dead money?
All his guaranteed money's up.
Okay, all right, that's good.
All right, in a game for the division, ended up Indy at Houston, or Houston at Indy, I should say.
I want to go first on this one. Did Houston beat Indianapolis, or did Indianapolis cough up the game pretty much?
Yeah.
Bro. That fucking drop pass, dude. Like they practice that play.
That's what I said.
That shit's wide open. Like, yes, could have the pass been a little better? Sure. But dear God, secure the fucking ball and
Fall
move
down.
on with the next first down. Yeah, like, oh my God. Like,
The big league, son. You got to catch those.
that guy was like almost crying in his locker room. He's like, gotta keep my head up high. Like he's trying to like talk himself into not like just breaking down because that was brutal.
You literally come up to the line as Minshew and you're like, oh my God, they're going to fall for it. Hook, line, and sinker. First down, roll out, chuck it to dropped.
Like,
Here's my
was
problem.
it?
Go ahead.
I had a question. Was it because it wasn't JT that he was so wide open, or would have JT been wide open because of the design of the defense and the play on that situation? Like, why was JT not in the fucking game?
Yeah, I mean,
That's my thing. You use this man to get all the way down there, and then it's 4th and 1, and everybody's like, they're gonna run, and he's not even in the game. So not only are you making a bad call on 4th down, you're letting the other team know that you're making a bad call by not having him in the game.
Best player in the fucking
What the
team.
fuck are you doing? Like,
my question though is though it was a good play, but the player fucked it up. He was wide open. All he had to do was catch it. Like it's a genius play.
Yeah.
Like
yes, I understand all that.
nothing to
You're
do.
not passing on 4th and 1 with Taylor as your running back. You're just not. That's dumb. He was owning
Either
that.
way, the Texans move on because
Yeah,
of
I
shit
mean, they're
like
an
that.
impressive team. They're an exciting
Texans
young team, dude.
win. I mean, I think that we're missing the fucking biggest narrative is that CJ Stroud just won the division as a rookie.
Yeah.
I know it's a weak division,
But
man, he
again, to
fucking won
you,
it.
I'll pose to you this. Did he win it or did Jacksonville choke it away? That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away from the Texans because look, you got a rookie coordinator, a rookie head coach, a rookie quarterback, a rookie defensive,
Top
this
five
should
pick.
not happen. This should not happen. We all thought they're dead in the water for at least a couple of years. They're going to need a couple more drafts to put this together. But CJ Stroud is the real deal. Will Anderson is the real deal. Their draft was brilliant. What else can I say? I mean, they're a dynamic team, but I really do feel like in these two scenarios, Jacksonville just shit the bed. I mean, they
Maybe,
had a
I
multiple
mean,
game lead on these guys.
Telling you, T-Law isn't the man. T-Law is not the man.
Something's
yeah, and
wrong
I
with
I hate to I hate to admit when I'm wrong, especially when I'm wearing a fucking crown, but like, yeah, I think might be just overrated. I think that, I think Lawrence is a talented quarterback. I don't think that he's good enough to carry that whole franchise.
No, I would take him. I would take him on our team.
I would take him on our team too, but I don't think that I think that you need more pieces, is what I'm
Oh
saying.
yeah, well we have more pieces
Well,
than
and what's going on there is
yes.
what I want to know. Is it? I
Who's
feel
on their
like
team, dude? Who do they have? Name 4 players on their team.
I
ETN.
mean,
I
you got
wouldn't take. I
Kirk
wouldn't
and
take.
Calvin Ridley. Like that's a pretty shitty receiver core for those to be one
Ridley's
and two.
pretty good.
Kirk, Ridley, Evan Ingram, ETN. Fuck, it ain't that bad. Like, bro, I would take Love over fucking Lawrence already at this point in their careers, just from what I've seen. I'm not taking fucking Big Dick Lawrence just because he's number one pick and number one recruit in high school and college. Look at his fucking numbers. They're almost like Daniel Jones. Talk about where the media can kill you, and the opposite, Jacksonville. No one talks about his fucking shitty numbers. It's not good. And so, you know,
Right?
I
It's a
do agree with you that Jordan Love's numbers on a shitty Packers. Who the fuck caught those 32 touchdowns?
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
Love is
like
impressive.
50 different guys.
It's impressive.
Well, yeah, that's impressive, but I do think that you put Lawrence on a better team, he performs a lot better. And maybe that's just the difference between the two. Jordan Love can make good with nothing, and I mean, this guy needs like, Waddle and Hill to thrive, you know.
like I mean, look at CJ Stroud though. Who does he have?
He's got
Nico,
some
baby.
guys. He's got some guys.
Okay, well, I mean,
Not
I-
we're not
I-
saying compared to Jacksonville, who it's not like he's like
I would certainly take Stroud over Lawrence, honestly, like after this last year. because I think Lawrence has more weapons and Stroud played better, like
Yeah.
significantly
Fuck,
better.
that's the same. Love, the same thing as Love, dude. Love played way better. He has even less weapons. You're the
All right, you
youngest
convinced me.
youngest
I'll
team I've
keep
ever
Jordan
seen.
Love. Jesus.
Youngest team I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're the youngest team to make the playoffs since like 1920 is what they
Like
said.
for real, man, you should be so excited about the future because you have Wicks, Reed, Dobbs. Fucking if Watson ever stays healthy, you got all these young guys that are just gonna grow with
I
Love.
mean, yeah,
They're gonna grow with Love.
I Amazon Prime The Crown, so and it got here like 2 minutes before the episode started. So that's how excited I am. Go Packers! Let me talk about the
Did a
Packers
drone
in this
drop it off?
fucking Houston game.
Moving on to another division winner, Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers found a way to win. Dames flipped his coin on this one the other way and lost because Carolina won 2 games all year. So who would think that they would win this game with shit's on the line? Baker Mayfield was a little banged up in this one. Still got it done. And the play of the game, for those of you maybe you didn't watch it, if you didn't, go back and watch Antonio Winfield Jr. chasing down that touchdown, knocking it out right at the goal line. It goes back out of the end zone, which they were only up, I believe, 6-0 at that point, and they would have went down. Instead, they get the ball back, and then they end up getting a field goal and winning 9-0. So good
I
on
thought they just recovered it in the end zone.
No, it went out of that. They might have recovered it.
Well, I mean, it was a touchback.
It was a
Still,
touchback. Yeah, I thought it went
Yeah.
out of bounds.
I can't remember if it went out.
Yeah, well, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, but it was just hustle work. So.
And it was like, yeah, I mean, so close to the goal line. That was awesome.
Yeah, he was reaching the ball out to get it over the pylon,
Defense,
and they knocked it out.
defensive play of the year, possibly.
That's my favorite play in NFL, dude.
I know. Yeah, when you think you're about to score, and then the other team gets
Chase
I
it.
just
down.
remember Megatron trying to do it and Earl Thomas coming in and just chopping him right at the last second. It's just a beautiful thing to watch on replay. And I mean, then Cam Chancellor did it to somebody. It is like literally the greatest play.
Do you remember the Super Bowl Cowboys Bills in the '80s when I don't remember, it was a
Leon Lett.
defensive Leon Lett, and he got caught by Don Beebe.
BB.
Don
Yes.
Beebe, who is a quarter the size of Leon Lett.
And they were getting their ass kicked. Like
Yeah, they were getting hammered.
that was a fucking hustle play when you should have just been crying in the corner.
Don
like most
Beebe, I
people
think,
did.
got like 5 more years in the league because of that. He played for the Packers for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
Yep. All right, moving on to a division game, probably or would mean a little bit more in-state rivalry. Cincinnati, Cleveland had nothing to play for. Cincinnati stomped the shit out of them.
This was a preseason game.
Yep. Browning's girlfriend was
First
the
throw
talk
of the game was a pick.
was the talk of the game. Everything on Twitter I saw, or X, excuse me, was all about.
Nice outfit. Very nice outfit.
Yeah, she was supporting her man.
Mm.
Minnesota, Detroit, Gobo. You want to talk about this one?
I'll talk about this game. Yeah.
Division.
The Lions, God bless them. The kids are excited. They're going to the playoffs. They're hosting a playoff game, and they got this huge. I think the next week matchup with the Lions is so much more interesting than this because of the Goff Stafford trade. This game, the Vikings were. I mean, I don't even fucking Nick Mullins is their quarterback now. Yeah, the Vikings are. We need a Vikings fan on this show, to be honest. Like, that team is in hell. Like, they are.
No, gross. No one
What do you
wants
think, Ben? What do you think, Ben?
Barf.
Yeah. Actually, yeah,
Yeah, you don't want
fine.
like you get a Patriot fan on here. Hell
I know,
no.
right? Yeah, it's like, oh, we only won 8 Super Bowls in 10 years. But yeah, the fucking Vikings. Yeah, they had some really bad luck this year. They made some pretty bad personnel decisions. Took some weird risks. Blew a pretty. So, I mean, they were locked into the playoffs for a long time, and they blew that lead. Which, you know what, I directly benefited from it, so I love it. But yeah, the Lions just clearly the better team. It's sad about Laporta. I also don't like injuries. Just like Dames, I like to see the best players on the field playing the best games possible. But this is the thing. Dan Campbell is a shitty coach. I'm gonna say it a million times. The Lions could probably win the Super Bowl if they had the right coach this year. So I think now, and they go from an easy home game to now against the Rams. But like, I honestly, I don't. We'll talk about that game in a minute, but like, I don't know if the Lions win this game next week, guys, and it's because of stupid shit like that.
Right. So,
They won this game.
yeah. So my thing is with Detroit, also is, I mean, I guess I want to say one thing about Minnesota quick. Who's their quarterback moving forward next year? Kirk Cousins, is he?
Yeah,
Yep.
he's not back.
Phoenix.
He's
What
probably
about Jefferson then? Where's
he's
he?
probably a Jet.
Oh God, no.
Kirk Cousins is a Jet.
The
No.
Achilles quarterbacks.
Deal with it.
Do not Achilles last
Jets do
stand.
love washed out old white dudes.
You
who
have both of them.
good.
Once you're back, you
Achilles.
rotate every 2 weeks, every other week rotation. You
Okay,
got 2 weeks
okay.
to
Sorry that I
retire,
brought
bro.
that up. We are going to move on to the
Shit
Jets
would
game.
be awesome.
Yeah, I didn't have anything to say about that game anyway.
Yeah, no one did. It was
Yeah, me neither.
15 straight times the Jets have lost to the Patriots. 15 straight times until this week.
How did Bill Belichick let this happen at home?
Because
Told
he's
you,
done,
bro.
dude.
I
He's
told you.
done.
I mean, I realize that
He
the
knows
weather
he's getting
caused a few
fired.
mistakes.
Yeah.
The weather caused a few mistakes that put the Jets in a vital scoring position.
Their
But
offense can't do anything against the Jets defense. It was pathetic. Like, they
Like
suck.
Dude, they
I
had the least amount of yards they've ever had since like in the first quarter since like 1930. They had -9 yards. And then in the first half, they had like -50. It was like insane.
yeah.
I was like hoping they would be negative all game, but
I picked the Patriots to win this game, thinking that Belichick was going to show some pride and actually show up and coach this fucking game. They laid down. It was something, yeah, like you said, it's the worst offensive performance, like maybe in the history. I mean, definitely in Belichick's career. And
yeah.
it's, that's how it ends. That leads me to believe that he got bad news before the game, and they just haven't publicized it.
let me ask you guys this. If Tom Brady's on that roster, do they make the playoffs?
Yes,
Yeah.
Really?
yeah,
On that
absolutely.
roster.
It's Tom Brady.
And their defense is still pretty good, but they're on the field so much that they can't do shit because that offense seriously is.
All right, then I'm gonna leave a comment here that I don't want you to respond to. You fuckers were all like, it's time for him to retire. And if that's true that he's on this team and they're a playoff team, fuck whoever said that. I know
I never said it.
I know. It was you and it was you.
What are you saying?
At the end of last season, when Brady hung it up, you were like, he's done. I don't ever need to see him again. He's washed up. He can't do it anymore.
I don't remember saying that he was worse than Mac Jones.
You.
Yeah, ditto. Okay,
That's not
yeah.
the point I'm making.
I was like,
6 wins is better than 4, but that doesn't mean they're in the playoffs.
Well, they weren't in the playoffs last year.
I don't know that they're a playoff team with Tom Brady, is my point. And you guys are saying yes.
like Tom Brady, like now, like 48-year-old Tom Brady.
No, I'm not going to say
no.
10
Yeah,
years ago, Tom Brady on this.
But would Tom Brady be better than what they have right now at his age? Fuck yes.
Oh, I don't know if I agree with that. I thought you were talking about just like Tom Brady in general.
If
Like,
Tom Brady went under center, you don't think he's better than Zappy right now?
All he
It's like
does-
Michael Jordan can still go out there and ball. He's like 80 years old. He'll be hitting fucking jumpers over 25 year
Oh, I
olds.
thought you meant ball because I've seen a bunch of memes with him crying.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on past that stupid game.
Let's.
Derek Carr and his $100 million contract that no one talks about. Got to win against Atlanta. If the Bucks would have lost, they could have won the division, but they didn't. And the Falcons fired their coach.
There's only one thing to talk about in this game other than the firing of the coach. And I want to know what you guys think about it. I want to hear from Jas first, though.
Oh, on the Bijan Robinson 70-some yard touchdown reception.
No.
About fucking time they
Okay,
finally.
no one gives a fuck about fantasy. Talking
About fucking time they
the
used
last
him,
play of
the
the
right
game.
player.
The last play of the game.
Fuck. Last play of the game, I fucking thought the interview was hilarious. So,
The interview was great. I'd give you that. He's like, what do you think? He's like, respectfully, I think you're an asshole. It's just like, well, that's what you think. So is the rest of the team assholes? Yeah.
Oh fuck. Well, I don't know if it works. You don't cry about it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, there's
It's,
both mentalities of
I don't understand it. I mean, I don't understand it, honestly. Like the guy had 17 touchdowns last year. Why does he need one this year? Like, was there some kind of monetary bonus that he was going to
that's
get?
what I was saying. If he was getting a
There
bonus,
wasn't. I looked it up. There's not. So it was just
I
a
don't. Yeah.
touchdown. And I mean, I
Just
kind of agree with the reporter. You got to play these guys twice a year, and that's going to burn them up, man. That's gonna leave a sting.
some of the old linemen had him in their fantasy team and needed some points.
Ooh, I
I don't
really
know, it feels like you ever like play Tecmo Bowl when you were a kid and you were winning by a ton and you just decided to continue scoring as many points as possible to be a dick?
Every game.
every game. Yeah, why would that's Tecmo though?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like maybe we're living in some sort of simulation.
Right. I
Okay,
don't. I
so
get it. It's like Jameis. I don't. I just don't like what the coach. If the coach literally said, "Don't do it," and you still get the fuck off my team because you're gonna lose. Get off the team. Get him off the team. I don't care if the whole team said no. They didn't. There's only 11 dudes out there, and I told you not to do it. I'm in charge. I mean, very simple, but I mean now. I mean,
that's the ultimate ending to this. Are you willing to accept that the words that your coach says do not matter in certain
Yeah.
scenarios? That's horrible precedent to set, dude.
It's
It's
true.
it's I mean, that's the only problem I have with it is that your guy said don't do it. Like they specifically asked him if they could do it, and he was like, "No, do not do it." And I think it's funny that the coach was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then he gets fired like 10 minutes later.
yeah, that's true. NFL for the Falcon
Yeah,
He's
fan.
I'd be
just
like,
having the worst day.
Yeah, he comes out there. This motherfucker's rubbing this shit in my face, and then I get fired.
But hopefully they get someone in Atlanta that can do something with those.
All right, moving on. Big Dick Lawrence couldn't get it done against Tannehill, who's back
Mm.
out of retire. I feel like he wasn't not out of retirement, but it feels like it. Tannehill started at the beginning, and then they went through a bunch of quarterbacks. Now he's all of a sudden back, and then he's beating Jacksonville to keep him out of the playoffs. King Henry ran like King Henry of old, and then gave a speech at the end of the game with a microphone thanking all of the fans. I don't know if you guys saw that at home.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
He's
And
leaving. He's done. He's going to try to
yeah,
win a Super Bowl
I was
somewhere. He's
like, yeah,
going to try to win a Super Bowl somewhere. Fuck you guys. Thank you. But this team sucks. I'm out of here.
yeah, I'm gonna go be a backup on the Ravens.
we all picked Jacksonville. We all think they'd bounce back. We thought they'd come back. Big Dick Dames is ain't Big Dick no more.
I mean, it's not that cold in Tennessee, so he shouldn't have had the amount of shrinkage that I saw in his play. Um, he wasn't the worst player on that team by any stretch, but he didn't do anything to elevate them past a really kind of bad Tennessee team. And I don't know if you guys saw Vrabel's comments after the game. He's like, nobody's going to remember winning the last game of the season when we come in next year. He's like, no one gives a
That's why
shit
you're fired.
about that. He's like,
That's why you got fired.
and then he got fired.
And then it's just like, well,
Doesn't matter to you,
not
but
just the last game of the season, Mike.
It's
yeah.
I like the guy. I think he's a good coach, but I mean they do have to make a change. They have to have some kind of change there. Um, culturally, it's not working. They're boring and dull, despite having like one of the all-time great players. It's just not fun to watch their product. And I don't know if that's a coaching thing that can be fixed, but better things ahead, hopefully, for Tennessee because they got beat by Houston twice in 3 weeks.
Well, and then what does Jacksonville do? Like, what is the answer there? I feel like you're going to stick with Lawrence, obviously, next year. But this is make or break for him. And if he has a year like this year, they move on. They move
Well,
on.
he'll be able to play out his rookie contract there, but will he get a deal after that? I mean, he's going to have
I
to
was gonna
play
say, yeah.
balls
I
out.
He's
They've
mean,
gonna
got a good
be
coach.
how is Big Dick Lawrence's legacy gonna go down?
gonna
I'm
be like
fascinated by it.
Herbert. It's gonna be like Herbert. They're gonna sell everyone else out and start a whole new thing over and give him one more chance. Because you don't, I mean, unless they can get good trade value, like
I mean,
as
that
we,
seems pretty likely. I don't see a lot of people because Jacksonville's gonna want the farm for him, and I don't think
right.
Oakland's gonna want to give that up.
All right, Dames. Seattle, Arizona. We all took Arizona. They've been playing pretty well. Seattle's been playing like shit. You squeaked out a
Squeaker.
win.
I mean, I wish that I had a better I told you so, motherfuckers, but I don't. We won on a last second missed field goal. I will say this: Geno Smith had seven fourth quarter lead taking touchdown passes. That's an NFL record this season. He had seven fourth quarter lead taking touchdowns, and people are like, he fucking sucks.
You didn't make the playoffs. That sucks.
Dude, it's not Geno. I honestly can say that is not Geno's fault. Did we have some defective and deficiencies on our offense at times? Yes, we did. But our defense was not able to keep us in game. I mean, it's it was pretty putrid, man. Um, I think we gave up the most opening drive touchdowns, 7 out of 18 games, 17 games. 7. 7 times the other team scored on the first drive. That doesn't really, I mean, I thought about this in the Washington game last night. You win the coin toss, you defer, and then you give up a 41-yard touchdown run. Like that's not an effective way. To me, like when your defense is struggling, you want to give your offense the most opportunities to have the ball. So you start with the ball. But Pete Carroll's he's not going to change anything based on what's actually happening. He's got his philosophy, and that's the way it is. But this was a boring, shitty game that just made me mad, honestly. But Tyler Lockett, like I said, consummate professional in the clutch, last 2 minutes of the game, like 35-yard touchdown. I think it was like his longest touchdown pass of the season. And then, of course, they go for two, which I lambasted the Detroit for doing this last week with 3 minutes left. There was 2 minutes left in this game, but it's like this is the last game of the season. Go for two. You already aren't going to the playoffs, so you might as well not even bother with overtime. Either you're going to win it or you're going to give up a field goal or whatever. They still have time left to get the field goal, but they took the lead and they held it. So that's all that matters.
That was exactly my thought at that 2 minute mark. I'm like, just fucking go for two here, guys. You know, season's over. Don't get anybody hurt. Let's just get
Season's
on.
over though. Most of the time I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. You only go for the win or loss if there's like 10 seconds left. You don't give the other team the ball
Yeah, it's
back.
like a preseason game or a meaningless game. You're like, fuck it. Let's either win it or lose it right here.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yep. All right, Green Bay time. I'm the only one who took them. Obviously, Gobo has his rule since he against the Giants. We were watching back in the day, so he did take the Bears, but he also said, "Go Pack, go." We'll chime back in with you right now, Gobo. Let's hear it. Packers going to the
Yeah.
playoffs.
Well, I mean, I did also say that, of course, the Packers should win this game. They're the better team. Dames adamantly disagreed with me, and we saw probably the best defensive performance of the season by the Packers this game. Justin Fields, you know what? I'm gonna say it. He's better than I initially gave him credit for. He's grown a little bit in the position. His on-field awareness has gotten a lot better. I see him avoiding sacks, getting the ball out there. I mean, I'm interested to see what the Bears do with this draft. I think they'll probably squander it because they're the Bears and that's what they always do. But you know what? I felt good as a Packers fan for like the first time this season. Like we played a complete game. We didn't, we had one turnover and it was a strip fumble. It's a good defensive play by the Bears. Um, we didn't blow the game. We found a way not to blow it, and we're in the playoffs, and anything can happen. When we won the Super Bowl in 2010, we came in as a 6 seed. There was only 6 teams in the playoffs back then. We beat four division champions in a row to win the Super Bowl. It could happen this year. That's what we would have to do to get this done. Um, I'm
Never
not
know.
saying I'm not saying that I'm a believer yet. Let's see how we play against Dallas. I mean, we could go out and lay a huge egg. Dallas has a ton of talent. They're 15 games in a row at home. But I mean, I'm just saying we're playing with house money at this point. We did way better than I thought we were going to do. And it was a great game. I had a lot of fun with it.
James.
Guys, I'm going to bring this up because this is really the only time that we're going to be able to talk about it um, prior to it happening. I like Justin Fields. You guys know that I've been on his bandwagon all year long. Some players I'm on their bandwagon, it doesn't work out. Sometimes, and it's the tail of the tape is still out, honestly, on this kid. But I like him. And like Gobo said, he is growing as a player. But here's the thing. How often do you have two top 10 picks in a draft where you have the one pick and you have a generational talent quarterback waiting to be drafted? All right. If you stick with Justin Fields and you trade that pick away, you're potentially giving somebody a Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean, not giving, you're going to get a haul for it, but you're going to always be that team that gave away Tom Brady too, or whatever. If he works out, he may not work out. But you got to look, this is going to be a really hard decision for these guys because what they could get back for that number one pick is it could set them up for years. And they still, I mean, especially if it's the second or third or fourth pick and they can get Marvin Harrison Jr. Because that's what they should be focused on the most is a wide receiver and then some O-line. And there's plenty of picks to get it. What do you do? What do you do? Do you stick with Fields, trade the pick, or do you take the quarterback of the future and then trade Fields? You're still going to get maybe a second and a third round pick for him. You're not going to get a first rounder for him, I don't think. But what do you do? What do you do, you guys?
You're gonna get two first rounders for Fields at least. Fucking Rosen got
Then
first
they should
rounders
do
for
it.
him.
If that's the
Oh
case,
yeah,
they should do it.
yeah,
I don't
they
see
could
it.
get a pretty good haul for Fields. At
I
least
don't see
I'd
it.
say at least two first. But I'll go back to Love for a little bit. Most multiple touchdown, zero interception games in a season since Roger Staubach in like 19 whatever fucking years he played, 50s, 60s, I don't know.
70s, Staubach, Roger the Dodger.
So that's pretty impressive. I think 9 games where he's having multiple touchdowns with no interceptions, which, when you don't turn it over and you're scoring touchdowns, your odds of winning those games are very high. So interesting to see how Green Bay is moving forward. And like you said, if Chicago plays this right, it could be Fields and Love matching up to win that division every year for years to come. So
I do think the Lions are about to get left in the dust. I do
I
feel
do.
I do feel that way.
Yeah, like how long is Jared Goff gonna honestly hold up? Like,
All right.
This
Flash in
is
the
it.
pan.
This is it. Yep. All right, moving on. Kansas City Raiders, or excuse me, Raiders. Kansas City
Chargers.
Chargers. We all took KC.
What an embarrassing team.
13-12, some shit like that.
It was like a painfully awful
Yeah.
game to watch. Like I turned it off. I couldn't. I was like, this sucks. It's just bad football.
Yeah, I mean, it's like those things at the end of the year this is why they always want those matchups where they have divisions because they want these good games, and a few of them, yes, and I don't think we talked about it, but the AFC North had all four teams with a winning record. It's never been done,
Mm-hmm.
or some
First
shit
time in
like,
NFL history, all four teams
yeah,
with a winning record.
This
damn,
is the AFC West, Jails.
I know. I said we
Yeah.
failed to mention that earlier.
I mean, you had
Um,
no Herbert, you had no Mahomes, you had no Kelsey. I mean, what this game was just
I was like,
Chris
Chris
Jones.
Jones
Chris
is gonna play.
Jones. Chris Jones did get his million whatever bonus for his half sack. So congrats to the bonus. I believe there's a couple other guys that got some big bonuses. Haven't triggered my mind yet. Who was the other one?
Hopkins got his. All right, Denver, Vegas, blah, blah, O'Connell versus Stidham.
Oh, but let me remind you guys, we're making this change away from Russ because we're focused on winning. What a
Not
fucking crock of
financials.
shit. What a
Like,
fucking crock of shit, dude. I went from like a couple of years ago, like completely respecting Sean Payton to absolutely hating. I fucking hate that guy, dude.
he is.
I watched him yelling at Russell on the sidelines, and I'm just like, dude, what is your problem? Like, first of all, it's a game. Secondly, like he deserves more respect than that. I mean, I get that you don't like the guy,
Let's
but
have the conversation.
yeah, he's having a conversation with his coordinator or his quarterback coach, and then he just walks up and Russ is just like he's just standing there like I mean, he's probably thinking this guy is out of this fucking
Yeah,
mind.
yeah. He's like in his brain. He's like this.
He's like, Pete, I miss you.
I mean, it's this is another game that it was just like you could tell the Broncos like their sales were just flattened. Nobody wanted to tackle, nobody wanted to catch the ball. Like it was another preseason game. Like it just was a complete waste of time.
All
Yeah.
right, guys. This is again the last time that we're gonna be able to talk about this. I want everybody to pick a Russell Wilson landing spot next season.
Oh,
What do you got? What do you got?
Hmm.
uh,
Washington might be ready to move on.
mhm.
It's a very good.
Oh my God, oh my God, Minnesota.
It could be
Oh
Minnesota.
shit.
I don't think
Yes.
he wants to go there, but he may not have a ton of options. I think
Right.
honestly, he'll end up in Tampa. That's what I think.
Jets.
I
Not
would,
going.
Rodgers.
dude, I would love to see Russell Wilson on that Jets team. That would be electric. I would watch every game.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be electric too.
We
So
have Aaron Rodgers, guys. We don't need Russell right now.
I mean,
We'll see if Rodgers survives the offseason.
Agreed.
His body, and maybe not his life.
Gonna end up
Oh,
back in
wait,
Seattle.
give
Remember?
me something, Jails. Where is he going? Where's he going to land?
Yeah, Seattle.
back to Seattle.
Yeah. No, not back to Seattle. I actually was when you first said it, I was thinking Tampa Bay. I'm like, I feel like they're not gonna give Baker that money because I don't still feel like they don't believe in him. I feel like Bowles and Russell might actually
Here's
work.
the deal, though. They could still sign Baker and Russell because Russell's going to cost $1 million. I mean, $40 million, 39 of it's comped by Denver.
I was gonna
Hey,
say, yeah, Denver's gonna retain a bunch of his salary.
who's
So,
got big who's got big ties to Russell that is like his good offensive coordinator or something? What about Atlanta? That's saying fuck it, let's move on with their new regime, and they
well,
swoop
that
in and
would.
bring him to
I mean, it
Atlanta.
depends on who they bring in, obviously, but
I mean, yeah,
he was there.
Atlanta's a possibility because they definitely Ritter's
They
not the
need,
guy.
they need an upgrade.
Oh. Something to ponder. Let us know at home who you guys think, Russell Wilson's landing spot for next year. It's pretty exciting. Yeah,
I just
James.
want to throw in one last, and I brought this up the other time. If indeed the Bears are ready to move on from, they could trade the first pick and Fields for a number of first round picks and have Russell Wilson for 3 years.
Which wasn't he leaning to go into the Bears when that
That
whole
was on his original list,
It
yes.
was on the list, yeah.
Oh
With
my God, that actually I
and
like
then
that.
DJ Moore is your number two receiver because you have Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right.
Or you trade for another
And
receiver
and
with
maybe Tyler Lockett at that point.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
yeah, maybe
I mean,
Lockett and Wilson
I
reunite.
mean, this is also assuming the Bears don't have one of the worst front offices in the league.
true.
Touche. All right.
I
Gene.
think I just to talk about the Bears just for a second. So what like the Bears, if they keep that first round pick and then don't take the kid from US, they draft somebody else.
Huge mistake.
That would be the worst thing they could possibly do.
That would be the worst mistake they could possibly do.
Maybe they should draft Bryce Young over Stroud.
Because here's the thing. you have at least 5, 6 teams that want that player. And if you're not taking that player, you have a responsibility to your franchise to make that pick available to the highest bidder for that player.
When's their new stadium open? That's the question. So I feel like maybe they could build up for that, where they're trading down here, get a bunch of draft capital, keep building, and then when they have that new stadium, draft for this
There
new
is
guy.
one other thing to consider here, gentlemen,
Some more
and that's
money.
who is trading up to get him. Because you don't want to move out of Marvin Harrison Jr. range. And I mean, he's a top 5 pick. So you can't trade to number 6.
It's only 2 or 3. That's as far down as I would go.
Yeah.
Right.
Load up on picks, make Washington or New England decide if New England wants to
That's kind of I was
take
thinking.
them.
It's gonna be the Commanders of the Patriots, and would. I think the Patriots are more likely to try to make that deal. I think the Patriots would be willing to give away the farm to get Caleb, but
Well, dude, I mean, think about it. If Belichick is still there, how many years does he have left? He's not
what
going
about
to worry about
Harbaugh?
draft. He's not going to worry about draft picks 5 years from now. He's gonna be like, I got a quarterback finally. Let's go. So we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll
Shit.
see. We'll see.
Philly Giants, G-Men.
Guys, first time we beat the Eagles in I guess it was only five games. I thought it was a lot more than that, but maybe it's still on the road. It's a lot. But anyway, um this is one of the more depressing stats of the season. We failed to again score a touchdown on our first possession of the game, which means we went over 18 on scripted drives to start a game, which typically um is
That's impressive to be that easy.
so I haven't that was back in the days of it had to be uh Kent Graham or maybe Dave Brown at quarterback. So neither of you guys have probably ever heard of them. They're probably two of the worst quarterbacks in NFL history. Jails has heard of them because I mentioned them.
You had their
So
starting
our
line.
offense was that bad this year, and it's all on the O line. But we kicked the shit out of Philly. They actually played their starters. We dislocated Jalen Hurts' middle finger. It was all crooked. Luckily for Eagles fans, they were able to pop it out, and there was no fracture or anything. AJ Brown went down, looked like a nasty injury for him. It looked like he's done for the season the way he's reacting. Now, since we record on Tuesdays, the injury report hasn't come out yet, so we'll see exactly. We'll get some more news on that as the week goes on. But um, a lot of changes coming up this offseason, and that's what I'm most looking forward to and least looking forward to. We have to decide if we're going to franchise Saquon again. We have to decide if we're going to try to keep McKinney, kind of our two biggest ones. And since we have Pinnock and Belton played good down the stretch, I can just see us not being able to afford him because of some of our other choices.
Johnny Dimes.
So it's going to be an interesting offseason.
All right, so that miserable statistic. I'm going to rub some salt in the wound. You played Seattle this season, who gave up 7. You were one of them.
That wasn't one of them.
I said this probably 6 weeks ago. I said there's no way that this Eagles team beats New York twice. There's no way. I said the first one I give them, but when they go to New York, they don't even have a chance. And I was right. I mean, I was right. And I'm right on the Eagles overall. They are just not. They're not it, man. They're not it. They were last year. They were the shit. But
Their coach lost the locker room.
I don't
Their
know
coach.
what's going on. That team is. They lost coordinators. They lost both coordinators.
Right.
And
They lost a couple players too, TJ Edwards and Gardner Johnson or whatever. So they lost some studs too.
And they brought in Marcus Mariota, who is a cancer in the locker room.
Oh, good to know. Good to know.
I know. I hate agreeing with Dames. I hate it, especially when he had a contradictory point to mine and ended up being right. It's like the worst. But as you can tell, I'm very humble. And James, you're right. The fucking Eagles. What the fuck? Like they looked so bad in this game. They've looked so bad the last 6 weeks. Like I don't know. I'll like yeah. We'll talk about that next
How do
week.
you
I should
go?
rewind. What did Gobo say before the Giants Eagles game last week? Actually, now that you're
They were gonna show up and get their ass kicked. They were gonna kick ass.
Yeah, I picked the Eagles because like
yeah,
the Giants have no identity. Like they have no offensive identity. Like
Saquon, 2 touchdowns.
right. Just Saquon. Like but they keep doing all this shit with like these random quarterbacks. Like they have no offensive line, like you said. And the Eagles, for all of their problems, for all of the adversity they've faced this year, they are so much better of a team than the Giants are. And they just went and they got laid out. Like it wasn't even close. Like I don't know what the problem is in Philly, but like
Were they
it's
8-1
it's
at one point?
bad.
Were they 8-1 at one point?
They were.
They were balling. Yeah, they
And
were.
the
They were.
the Jets beat. Remember, they're 8-0. The Jets beat them. They were undefeated.
How do you fall from grace? Maybe they're just like, God, we lost to the Jets. We might as well just
Yeah,
shit
pretty
anyway.
much. I would want
Straight into
to.
depression.
I
I don't
mean,
know what
No,
the
they'll come out with some. They'll come out with some news story. Early next year that Jalen Hurts played with a torn throwing labrum rotator cuff for half the season. Blah, fucking blah, or some bullshit excuse that they act like they don't report, but then it comes out of nowhere.
and I missed this when we were talking about the Jaguars. I also think Trevor Lawrence has been playing hurt the whole season.
I think that too.
Like he's fucked up. Like his leg is fucked up and he keeps playing on it.
From carrying that big dick around all season, he's wearing on him.
Yeah.
That's a kickstand, dude.
He's got a dick sprain.
Not an excuse, Gobo, when you have 3 legs that are the same length.
You know what? Like, put on a cup, son. Big league.
Speaking of Big Dick Lawrence, Dick Hammer, the third, 49ers, Sam Darnold against Carson. I've been training with John Gruden Wentz. And Wentz got the win. Did we all know all these things? Out there,
We fucking time traveled back to 2016.
right. Wentz gets the win for the Rams. He looked pretty good. I mean, if anybody watched this game, not really. No one played. So,
Dude, I really,
and I'm sure Davis
I'm
loves
not
it.
a fan of this 17-game season.
I just skipped. I didn't even watch these highlights. I skipped them. I saw Darnold and Wentz. I said, I'm watching.
Yeah. I like watched the beginning of the game and I saw like who was at quarterback and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like
It just gave me
another
flashbacks.
preseason game.
Give me flashbacks to Sam Darnold running around and then like throwing it one way and then looking confused and then coming back up. No, gives me acid flashback, dude. I just see him. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Game's not worth talking about anymore.
Yep.
if the game's a joke, like put the fucking mascots in. Let's have fun with it.
James took the dumbest name in sports against Dallas.
Proved to be wrong.
Right. I
Hey,
mean,
man, I was just trying to get back a game.
try to get back. And you picked the Commanders to help you get back, bro?
Well, and Dallas is I understand the pick a little bit because Dallas is kind of uncooperative on the
Us
road.
on the road.
But yeah,
The
the Commanders
though?
fucking
Dude,
suck.
the Jets beat the Commanders.
Yeah, the Commanders are a bad football
Trash.
team.
Bad name, bad team. I mean, it just kind of goes hand in hand. Last but not least, Sunday Night Football, the game everyone was looking forward to. The Dolphins are trash. The Dolphins are trash, dude.
I've been saying it all year.
Dolphins are
I've been
trash.
saying it all year.
I'm
The
still going
Dolphins
back.
are
We need to pull up
overrated.
last year's shit. Tua sucks. Not the answer, man. He can't do it.
They lost by 7, you guys.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to talk narratives here and all these playoff games. This is the fucking WWE, I mean the NFL script coming out saying, Miami, Tua, throw a fucking pick here. We got to have Tyreek in Kansas City for the fucking playoffs. So you need to lose this game. That fucking pass was so pathetic, it had to be scripted.
No, that's just
Tua,
how
Tua, please. My God.
Tua, please.
Fucking pathetic.
All right, look. The Bills are, to me, are the team to beat in the AFC right now. I know we got a Baltimore team that we love, and I honestly cannot wait to see the two of them clash because I think Buffalo's going to come out on top. I just have a feeling about it. That said, um, this game almost went into overtime, you guys. Don't tell me the Dolphins are trash. This is not the Eagles, you guys. I get it. It's emotional for you, Jails.
They haven't beat a team with a winning record in
I
like
understand that, but they were this close to going to overtime.
that's
Do you
literally
understand? Do you understand what that means, Games? They haven't been a team with a winning record. And fucking Josh Allen gave them 2 fucking red zone, in zone turnovers. The Bills marched up and down that fucking field. They don't make a couple mistakes. That shit's a blowout. Like,
Poster didn't play.
Miami
I get it.
is in trouble.
Yeah.
But
Although I feel that way about a lot of the teams. And I do agree with you about the Bills. They look
Yeah, everyone was like so like mesmerized when the Dolphins hung that 70 burger on the fucking hapless Broncos. Like the Broncos were playing so poorly when that game happened. Like they're so overrated. Like you said, yeah, the fucking no wins against teams with winning records, and then I don't know. I'll just say it right now. The Dolphins Chiefs game next week is the least interesting game of the week.
ooh, I don't know about that.
Ooh, ooh,
You
ooh.
got a Pittsburgh game.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
that's
dude.
fair.
I mean,
That's gonna be a shitty game.
That's true.
like I feel like at least the Dolphins Kansas City. That's a good matchup, dude. I mean,
It's Tyreek's return to Kansas City.
a
Okay.
good matchup. Like,
Yeah, well, and then that's going to conclude our picks. Overall records leading the way. Midwest Jet, 166 and 106. Second place, G-Men, 158, 114. Dames, 156, 116. And Gobo, 145, 113. That takes us to playoff football. To playoff football. And we
Playoffs.
draw playoffs. Make sure you play along at home again. First game, VT. How you doing down there in Houston? The Browns are coming to town. Every game, I think G-Man just touched on it. It's basically all these conspiracy theories. We got fucking Dick Touch Guy's team going back to his old team. I'll start this one off. The last time a rookie head coach and rookie quarterback started in the playoffs, you guessed it, Mark Sanchez, Rex Ryan.
didn't guess it.
You didn't, but
No one would have guessed that.
I said Rex Ryan, no.
No one would
Yes.
ever guess that.
guess who won the game? The rookie coach and the rookie quarterback. I'm taking the same at home. Houston, I think they come in there very confident. Cleveland, I still don't believe in this Joe Flacco-led team. I'm going to take Houston at home. Everybody's going to be against them, so I just think, why not? 21-17. Gobo.
You're right. I'm taking the Browns. Amari and Miles Garrett, and you know what? Joe Flacco. I mean, this is it. This is the young kid. He's full of talent. You know, he's got all this confidence. He's like, I'm the best. I'm gonna go out there. Like, who's gonna be better than me? And Joe Flacco, for all of his inconsistencies in his career, he's going to be heading. I mean, if the Browns pull it off, he'd be heading to his third Super Bowl. So, you know what? I'm taking Flacco on the road. I think it's going to be a good defensive performance by the Browns. I'm going to say 21-13. They beat Houston at home.
G-Men.
Guys, I watched that Texans game. I haven't seen a lot of Stroud besides mainly highlights and some other little things, but dude, some of these backpedaling backpedaling throws that just are darts and lasers and all over the field. This guy is definitely special, and it's going to run out for him or it's going to run out for the old man. And I think Flacco's had his go around in NFL success. If he wins at this league this year, the whole thing. I'm just not impressed with football at all anymore because The
Yeah,
brand of football I saw him play last year for the Jets or 2 years ago, that was pathetic.
Oh, it was
So I
last
don't know
year.
what he's on, where he got back to this place of peace of mind where he's playing good football or what, but they don't have their stud running back Chubb. No one even remembers that, and they're this good. So imagine if they had him, even much more dangerous they would be. But anyway, I am going with Stroud over Flacco just because I typically will choose the youth when the spread is that far and he is playing like he don't give a shit. And if you remember playoff games, college football title game, 5 touchdowns, another one rushing. Last week he's good. I think this kid's a clutch player too. So I want to see the Texans get up against, someone even better than the Browns. So Texans at home.
James Morris.
Browns might have the best defense in football, and it might be because Miles Garrett. Well, it absolutely is because of Miles
I
Garrett.
was like, he's
Uh,
definitely a key part of it. Yeah.
Houston's defense is sus, and Will Anderson's not 100%. Um, that's my first comment. Joe Flacco's playing with house money, you guys. If he wins, he's a hero in Cleveland because they love their goddamn football. If he loses, they'll just be like, "Oh, it was Joe Flacco was our quarterback." That's where it's at. Okay, you got a rookie on the other side who is dynamic, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's Patrick." What I saw in those plays that Jazz was talking about, that's old school Russell Wilson, man. Run around, do twists and turns, and then just throw it. And Doug Baldwin makes the catch. That's what I used to watch.
Like a bigger, stronger version.
Yeah, that's what I used to watch, and it's exciting. It's dynamic. It's definitely not traditional play by any, but it's those types of players. His inability or his ability to play entire games without making mistakes with the football in the air is probably one of my biggest accolades for him. Joe Flacco on the other side of the ball is a wild card, and he throws a ton of interceptions. So I give the defensive nod to the Browns. I think Houston at home has got enough youth and just explosiveness to get over this Browns team. I'm not confident in the choice. This is going to be a really fun game to watch, but I got Houston by a field goal.
Browns are favored by 3 in this one,
I was
just
like,
so you
this might
guys.
be the best game of the weekend.
Mhm. Starts right off. Yep. And these games are on Saturday. Miami, Kansas City, Gobo. You said this is probably one of the least games you're looking forward to, maybe
And this
because
is
of the whole.
and it is kind of a storied matchup. These are two of the most popular teams in the United States among the populace. I mean, gonna have Taylor Swift in attendance, I'm sure, so it's gonna be a big media fiasco. And this is why I say it's gonna be the most boring game. It's because both of these teams are not playing very good football right now. I see the Chiefs are banged up. They make lots of mistakes. They lose winnable games. And then the Dolphins have not really been, every time they've been tested, they fold. Whether it be small losses or big losses, it's a loss nonetheless. And so that's why I'm like, this is kind of like which team wants to lose less, and I just think that's kind of a recipe for bad football. I am going to take the Chiefs at home, and it's going to be like maybe like a 17-16, like 3 missed field goal kind of game.
G-Man.
I like that. I like that, Gobo. I mean, I had a tough time picking this game because of how bad the Chiefs are playing. But I keep coming back to the Dolphins not beating anybody worth a shit. I keep coming back to Pat Mahomes in the playoffs, and you can throw all the other bullshit narratives and doesn't have receivers XYZ out the window because it is the playoffs. Experience matters most of the time, and having the best player in all of football matters all the time. Um, so Chiefs at home, and I'm not sure if I'll take them all the way to the Super Bowl this year, but I think they get the home win for sure against the Dolphins, and they're kind of left with a lot of questions next year. How do they get over the hump? and how can they beat, real teams?
All right, yeah. I'm going with both of you two, and I'm going to go for the same kind of the same reason, but basically I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. I mean, it's kind of like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady. Do we just say, hey, it's a different, who gives a shit what the regular season does? This guy came to play. This is probably the best Chiefs defense that he's had as a player. So I feel like even if the offense gets something going a little bit, the Dolphins defense isn't that good. So I just think they win at home. Maybe we get a little glimpse of the Chiefs of old. I do think they roll Miami, and I'm going to say they win 38-21 at home. Dames.
Guys, how do you not get up for a fucking home game at Arrowhead? This place is electric, you guys. I hate it, but I hate it from going back to the old AFC West days when Seattle was there. Got my ass kicked there a couple times. But not just on the field. I mean, walking back to my car literally got
Oh yeah, no, I know what you meant.
right.
Yeah.
So, but that said, those fans are passionate, man. It's a great facility to watch a game in. It's a great facility to play a game in, especially in the cold January weather. Um, Chiefs have a good defense. The Dolphins are kind of banged up on defense. They still got Ramsey, and that's going to be unfortunately their only major highlight on that side of the ball. Uh, Patrick Mahomes is going to be jealous that he doesn't have the wide receiver package that Tua has, and he's going to be like, "Oh man, I remember when I did have that. That was awesome." So I think Tua does get a couple over on these guys, but I think you guys have all nailed it. Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs is a different level than Patrick Mahomes during the season. And I hope we see that. For the sake of football, I hope we see the Chiefs actually play up to this Chiefs standard of the last couple years because Travis Kelce went from the best player in the fucking game last year to not even the best tight end in the game. He's being outplayed by rookies this year. And I don't know if it's a focus on relationships and or if he's just his body's banged up. He's been put
Age,
through a lot.
Yep.
Been put
age.
through a lot, but he in the span of one season to go from that electric to just
Yeah,
non.
we'll see if he can. Yeah, see if he can kind of put it all together for a little run here, and maybe he's saving himself at the end of the year because he's starting to feel it. But guys, the narratives are Watson versus the Texans, now Hill versus the Chiefs. Remember earlier in the year Hill fumbled late in the game to give the Chiefs that win. But James, you mentioned it, and I forgot about it. The weather. That's another reason. Mahomes is the main reason, but the weather is a reason. And who knows how much snow there is? Who knows what it's going to be like? And the Dolphins obviously aren't a cold weather team, and the Chiefs are. Besides, Tyreek Hill, but Chiefs defense, Spags. Let's go.
All right, so my pick is
Oh, sorry, James.
oh, you're fine. I want to hear everything you have to say. My pick
The
is going to
Chiefs.
be Kansas City, and it's not because I believe Miami's garbage. I think that it's going to be a high scoring game, something like 28-34. But I hope it is because that's what we need. That's what we deserve to see out of these two teams. We deserve to see a Chiefs team score over 30 points. That's what playoff football is in Kansas City. I don't care what the weather is. Honestly, Tariq Hill's used to it. If he can still run, he's done it before there. So get him the fucking ball, Tua.
Yep.
One more thing. This is a Peacock exclusive, by the way. This game is only on Peacock.
Yeah, no game is on cable. They're all on ESPN, or I mean, excuse me, they're on like no local games. No one gets these locally. They have to have the other. Anyway, Pittsburgh going to Buffalo. I'll start this one off. Buffalo's a hot team. Pittsburgh, yeah, it's awesome that they got in. Their best defensive players out. They're on their third string quarterback, and they're going into Buffalo to probably face one of the hottest teams in the league. So I'm taking Buffalo at home, big, 24-6. I don't think Pittsburgh's offense does anything against Buffalo. Did you also know that Jordan Poyer of the Bills actually gives credit to Aaron Rodgers for becoming sober. He took him on an ayahuasca trip, which opened, so now he has been sober for like a few years. So
They got him sober by getting him fucked up.
yeah,
Like, yeah, it's
it's
it's like
like
the
getting so
people.
twisted. You're sober, man.
He's like, dude, I
Well,
saw Aaron do this shit, and I'm like, do I look that stupid when I'm fucking with? I'm out. I'm done. I'm
yeah. I mean,
done.
it's like the people. I mean, this is like not football related, but like it's like the people who do canna recovery. Like they recover from drugs by just like taking edibles all fucking day long. I'm like, you understand? You're just getting high on a different drug, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like I love weed, but like yeah, I mean it's a drug.
But yeah, are you saying ayahuasca made him have a vision, and then he quit his addiction with something else, and now has not went back to ayahuasca, or is he an ayahuasca user now?
Ayahuasca is just, I feel like a one to two, you're not supposed to use it like all the time. It's supposed to be like enlightening. So I think it opened up his mind, man, to where he's like, alcohol's not important anymore or whatever in my life. And
Spiritual.
yeah. So anyway, Buffalo Big at home.
It's like in Back to the Future 2 when the kids got the Barbie version of the hoverboard, and he's like, I got a pit bull now. He's like, I got ayahuasca now. I don't need no alcohol.
Who you taking in this game? Who you
All
taking?
right. So, guys, I love Mike Tomlin. I hated losing to them, but honestly, super respect. He's never had a losing season with a garbage team. You say they're on their third string quarterback. I believe Rudolph is better than their first string quarterback. He's 3-0 in that system right now. He's on a roll. Not having Watt just pisses me off because that's really the only kind of shot they had at disrupting, because he's disruptive, man. And you know that Josh Allen has almost more turnovers than anybody else in the NFL. And if somebody could force him into that, it's going to be Watt. And the fact that I don't get to see that play out, it sucks. But so, and Buffalo's at home. Like I said, I think they're the red hot team right now. I think they're really the only one that could lay into Baltimore or a San Francisco. And quite frankly, I would love to see either of those games play out. So I'm going to go Buffalo. I hate to make it not interesting for the viewers here, but Buffalo's going to win, and they're going to win like 35 to like 19.
Gobo.
Yeah, it's then we can just move on. 38-10 Buffalo. Yeah, Pittsburgh, great season, guys. Good job.
Yep. G-Man.
Guys, if you watch the Steelers play with Rudolph now, it's just a different offense, and the only really thing that he does differently is when he gets one coverage, he throws it deep, which I don't understand how the other guys just didn't recognize that. They don't want to pull the trigger. And it doesn't even, going deep doesn't have to be a completion. It needs to be overthrown or only where your guy can get it. So you're not throwing an interception and you're either your guy's getting it, but it just puts that threat in the safety's minds, everyone's minds that, hey, I got to be ready for this. And they just might move them back even 6 inches, and that's enough to break your 2 to 3 yard runs to 4 or 5. But anyway, this is a Sunday game for 2 Saturday games that we talked about. Now we're on to Sunday. This is Sunday at noon. Bills at home. I don't think anyone's probably going to pick the Steelers besides their faithful. But we've all seen crazier things, so I think it'll be a good game. Bills at home, 28-24.
I have an answer for you on throwing down the field. Again, I use the term with Joe Flacco. Rudolph, there's no one behind him. He's on house money. He doesn't have to worry about being pulled from the game for throwing, for a turnover because, you know, his expectations are low and he's performing at a high level because of that. And I mean, that's just my take. I may be completely off, but
Right, but I mean, he obviously has high expectations of himself, and it's not
sure.
like he's just out there just chuck. I mean, yes, it probably does help a little, but playoffs, the expectations are there regardless if you're the starter, second string. I mean, if you're the third string, now you're the starter. The expectations are you're in the playoffs, bro. Like this is it. So we'll see how he does now in crunch time when there is expectations and pressure.
If they pull
All
this,
right.
I mean,
We
that's
all, yeah, right. And of course, here's the thing: playoff football to me is always just odd. Even though I'm picking these teams, these games get close. It's kind of just fun to sit back and watch. One person who gets to sit back and watch this week and enjoy their team in the playoffs, Gobo, the
Yeah.
NFL crew. You're going down to Dallas. Tell us why and who you're taking. Playoff football.
Well, can't mess with my formula, so I'm taking Dallas. Um, and I think that the reason if we lose this game, it will be because Dallas plays confident and they get after Jordan Love early, they disrupt him, they cause some turnovers, and they get out to a 2 or 3 touchdown lead. I don't think that the Packers are going to be able to keep pace with that. So I think that the Cowboys could very well win like a 31-17 game if they get if Dak gets some passes downfield, CeeDee Lamb maybe has a big day. Um, that's what I think. That's what I'm going to base my pick off of. Logically, that is probably what's going to happen. Um, but in my heart of hearts, it is the playoffs and crazy shit can happen. Jordan Love has a narrative going now. He's got this record, he's got this legacy of being better than Rodgers, and this is his opportunity to do it. And can he rally this young group of guys? If the Packers defense shows up like they did last week, we can get in Dak's head. And if that happens, we got a shot. And if like I said, we're huge underdogs. Dallas is significantly more talented than we are. But man, it would feel good to win this one in Jerry World.
Right. I mean, and here's what I'm gonna say about Dallas is, yeah, they're at home. They haven't lost there. They did lose some games this year, like I said, to some, I wouldn't say inferior teams, but teams that they should have won, they didn't. And I'm always at the thing of it's the playoffs. It's a whole different level. I am definitely rooting for Green Bay. I'm also gonna take, like you, Dallas. I do just think they're at home. The McCarthy against Green Bay thing. I feel like this kind of like no one gives a shit. That was so long ago. Like no one cares. He didn't leave there to go there for any
Also, Mike
rivalry.
McCarthy's a terrible coach. I'll say it. He won the Super Bowl with the Packers. Like he is not a game manager. He's an old school coach. He wins with talent. That's it.
Dames.
all right, guys. I have a different take on that. What's exciting about this game is McCarthy was part of the staff that drafted Jordan Love, and uh, that should be mentioned. Now let's look at this. This is a hot seat job in Dallas. If Jordan Love, in fact, goes into Dallas and keeps them from winning their 16th consecutive home game, Mike McCarthy's job is very much on the line. In Jerryland, you cannot get bounced in the first round of the playoffs by a quarterback that you drafted somewhere else. You just can't do it. You're going to be gone. He's going to be fired. That's extra incentive. But here's the thing, dude. Dak Prescott, if there were people not named Lamar Jackson, he's the MVP of the league, in my opinion, even over Brock Purdy. Just because of what he's done with this team. Like they're
McCaffrey.
I was like, yeah, you're missing one guy
that's
there.
what I meant.
Yeah.
McCaffrey. But especially over Brock Purdy, because I didn't think Brock
Yeah.
Purdy
I was like,
belonged in the
yeah, I
first.
don't think Purdy's really in the conversation.
But this is I very much care about this coaching situation. He did lead them to a Super Bowl, and if he's unable to get Dallas out of the first round, and you're Jerry Jones, yeah, how do you keep him? How do you keep him on your staff? I mean, I realize they've won 12 games 4 years in a row, 3 years in a row, but what good is that when you get bounced constantly in the first round? And this one would be the biggest blemish of all of them. I'm gonna pick Green Bay to win this game, you guys. I'm gonna
Ooh.
say Green Bay is gonna take out Dallas. Um, it's gonna be hard. They can't make any mistakes. I said this in the game I was watching last night. I was like, you cannot. no more mistakes, and you could win this game. And then they kept making mistakes. I think that this team's youth and the way that they're playing inspired football right now it's just going to rise above, and it's going to be something to behold. And I think the Packers walk away, and then McCarthy gets the axe. That's what I see. And I'm going to say 24-27.
G-Man.
Cracker, love you, bud. Good finish to the fantasy season. Dak and fucking CeeDee Lamb had historic fucking years. And like Dame said, you've won 15 in a row at home. So this is what it's all about. This is where game managers buckle in the playoffs, McCarthy. This is where regular season bucklers or regular season studs turn into postseason bucklers. This is where bad calls are made against the better team. This is where the 7.5 point underdog fucking already has their, you know, sight set on the next opponent. Um, and this is where the young team comes in and they fucking beat the Cowboys on the road, 15 straight, no more. And I agree with Dames. There's just something about seeing Dallas always as the favorite, and they can't handle it. I don't know what it is, but and Packers are playing great. Like you said, the defense is starting to gel. You got um the ability to cover CD maybe better than a lot of teams, and can't wait to watch this game. Sunday, 3:30.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to say to Dames, thank you for Bo Melton. Practice practice squad guy scored 2 touchdowns against the Bears.
Fair enough.
I'm like, fuck, man. Like,
The, the Saturday night game, the LA Rams going to Detroit. I personally think this is going to be one of the better games. I feel both of these teams are pretty evenly matched. We got Stafford coming back to Detroit. Some nice, again, these things are lining up nice for the NFL to see. And I kind of feel like, as a Rams fan, I feel like most Rams fans, they love Matthew Stafford. Like, he was like the man. He was a warrior there. And like when he left, no big deal. Maybe they'll give him a little welcome back. Welcome back. Probably not. It's the
They
playoffs.
will not, no, they will not be booing Matthew Stafford in Detroit. Bank it.
Who you taking in this game, Dames? Let's start with you.
Sure. Well, we're being robbed of one of the greatest scenarios that I can think of, other than the quarterback trade going head to head against each other. We have Stafford throwing to Puka Nacua, who broke many, many records, and we don't have Goff throwing to Laporta, who also broke many, many records. That is something that we're being robbed of because of foolish playing time injuries. I hate injuries. They bring the sport down. Unfortunately, they're part of this violent game. Um, God, I don't want to watch this. I don't like this game at all because uh I just have a feeling that Stafford's going to come back and he's going to feel like he's playing at home. And because of that, they're going to roll. And I really hate the Rams. So um I like both coaches, but I think McVay is just a smarter, better coach. And I think with the talent that they've got, um, they've definitely got the edge at quarterback. Um, it's just a matter of, can the Rams defense keep the Lions at bay? So I'm going to go Rams in this game, and I'm going to say 31-30.
I'm gonna agree with you. I feel like here's the deal with the Rams for me is they've been to the playoffs. They know what it's like. You got Stafford coming back to Detroit, like you said, he's familiar. They're playing at a high level. Their defense, again, it's the playoffs. That's when defenses even get stronger. And I'm gonna say, yeah, I don't trust Jared Goff. I don't trust the Lions. I think it's a good story. They're finally back. But I think this is one of those lessons that they're going to learn again because the Rams are going to come in, punch him in the mouth, and get this thing started. So I'm going to take Rams 21, Detroit 13. G-Men.
Guys, if I'm ever going to bet responsibly, it's going to be on a game like this. We got 6, 7 guys that can score touchdowns from all over the field combined on these teams. I'm expecting a shootout, and I do think Detroit fans love Matt Stafford, but Detroit fans also are so desperate for a playoff win. This environment is going to be absolutely insane. I think we're kind of overlooking the the advantage of home field advantage in this one, and it's going to play out pretty big. Um, Lions are going to win it at home, really good in the trenches, and I think they'll be able to run on the Rams and control the game and keep it at the end. So Lions at home,
Gobo.
31-30.
I mean, I'm gonna take the Rams, but I think that it's a very winnable game for Detroit. I've seen the Rams kind of come up short in big games like this season. And I think it's just because they are fairly young. And then yeah, I mean, how is Cooper Kupp's health right now? Is he
He's good.
playing?
He's,
He's
Oh,
good?
he's
Okay. That I think that is another reason that the Rams they have a really good receiving core with him and Nakua. So I think the Rams are going to win it. But I could see the Lions showing up and like if if it's close, the Rams will win. If it's a blowout, the Lions will win. So I think it's going to be close. I think that they win at 31-28, maybe at a like a last minute or overtime winning field goal.
Don't forget Tutu Atwell.
Who could possibly forget Tutu Atwell?
And then that Demarcus Robinson has been like scoring touchdowns for him too. Some guy no one even remembers.
I was like, the Rams got a lot on offense.
yeah.
Kyron Williams is back. They let him rest.
Play along at home. Make sure you give us your playoff picks. Again, just go to NFL.com, go right down and go to any website, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the sixth game of the week, Monday Night Football. I'm going to start this one off. Philly going into Tampa Bay.
My division, bro. Stealing my division.
Anyway, Tampa Bay have been kind of that team all year where, Bowles coming in after Brady. They got a new coach. Baker Mayfield. Is he what he used to be? And I'm just going to say they're going to keep rolling. I just don't think Philly's that good. We've all kind of been seeing it. They're snowballing into the playoffs. I just don't see them, oh my God, all of a sudden snapping their fingers and they're back to last year. So I'm taking Tampa Bay. I do think it's going to be a close fought game. Tampa Bay is going to have to play, well. But I'm going to say Tampa Bay 17, Philly 15. G-Men.
I think the Baker Mayfield story's done. I don't see a world where Jalen Hurts doesn't Superman up for a playoff game enough to beat a Baker Mayfield led team. I know they're in chaos, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of similar to the Chiefs. I mean, they're both Super Bowl teams of last year. I know that the Eagles are in a little worse situation as far as porous defense, but a good remedy for a really bad defense is to play an okay average offense with a decent defense. But the Eagles can put up points on anyone, and when they play an average offense, that's when they're going to have a better chance to win. So Eagles will get this one, and it's going to be a lot harder the next week.
Dave.
35-28.
So the average offense that you're speaking of is predicated on a pretty decent passing attack. And what I've seen out of Bradbury in the last fucking 4 weeks, 5 weeks of the season Baker can absolutely exploit him all game long, as Geno Smith did, and many, many others. The guy is absolutely horrible. They should have grabbed somebody off somebody's practice squad, Gobo. just because they would have been, I mean, even not knowing the scheme would be better than this fucking guy. This was the hardest game for me, guys, because it seems like every time I pick Tampa, they shit the bed. And I just have had a tough time picking the Eagles and being on the bandwagon of they're going to win a game. Because they haven't really in so long. Uh, man, this this is really tough. I'm gonna pick the Eagles. I think I'm not gonna give a score. I just think they're gonna win. And I don't really have a reason for it, other than they fucking should. That's my only reason.
Give me a reason, Gobo. What do you think?
Um, yeah, I think I'm off the Philly bandwagon. I don't know what the issue is if Hurts is hurt or Brown is out. I don't know, like, is there some turmoil on that offensive line? Is Marcus Mariota like secretly poisoning everybody in the lock, like actually like poisoning the Gatorade? Um, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the issue with the Eagles is. Like, they've looked terrible in the last, like, the loss. If it wasn't for a marginal win over the Giants, they would have lost the last 6 games in a row. And it's like, you can't, like, momentum is a real thing. And Tampa is also not playing good. That's why kind of this game sucks. It should have been a good game, but with just a beaten Baker Mayfield. I mean, I'm just gonna give it to the home team, like 6-3, just in a totally boring nonsense game.
6-3.
6-3, and the worst playoff game in the history of the NFL.
But it's on Monday night. How long? I mean, I don't remember. I have a bad memory, but how long has there been Monday night football games? Like a couple years or a few or any?
Ever since, fucking yeah, Commissioner Face made Roger Goodell made the season 800 weeks long.
So 2 years or whatever.
2 years, 2 years. Make sure you play along at home. Stick around right now. Ricky's picks. He's going to come on here, say some stuff. We join him. He's coming in. Want to thank him for being here every week. We want to thank you for watching every week. The big playoff picture takes another a slide forward. We get to see these divisional rounds unfold. We'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel, to talk about those weeks. And well, besides Gobo, our life is an NFHell.
Yeah, this is the last marathon show, guys. It's gonna be.
I was gonna say, well,
Guys, I'm do
shorter.
Dames, I'm doing what you said last week, and I'm gonna cheer for these teams I picked as if they're my own favorite team. That definitely makes watching these other games
It really does.
um a little better. It really does. So except for the Eagles, I'm not gonna be an Eagles fan. So other than that, I'm gonna cheer for these teams. Let's go, Texans. Woo-hoo!
All right, I'm your host, Midwest Jet, Dames Marvs, Gobo, G-Men Jazz. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you next week.
Fuck the Jets.
What's good? What's really good, everybody? Ricky Montalvo here with you to say so long and farewell as we closed our 2023 season. And the boys are so kind enough to join me here as I do bid you adieu. We had not quite the year we wanted to have, and I've touched on it all season long, but as you know, in gambling, easy come, easy go. So for me, in this year of review, we went 30-29, which is 51%, minus 1.9 units. Now, not the worst thing, but not the best thing. It's not why we gamble. Mostly we try to not lose money, but we also are trying to make a little bit of coin as well. I had mentioned to you guys in this season that the favorites, this was a remarkable year for them. The favorites covering not this well since 2005, if you can believe that, as we sit here in the year of our Lord 2024. So quite the remarkable regression for your boy here, who is a dog better. I've given you a lot of ugly dogs. Sometimes they cashed, sometimes they didn't. Again, 51%. But I take nothing away from my betting strategy. What breaks my heart in this particular situation is trust. And I asked you guys to back me here, to give me a chance to show you what positive ROI is in steady gambling. And of course, in my first year doing this, I catch a very high variance year. So it's something that you can look into on your own, but you'll have to trust me on that. I'll be back next year and be betting the exact same way that I do. And I look forward to the opportunity to review what I did last week. We had the Titans plus 5.5, a line that moved all the way to 3.5. That was an easy outright cover, baby. I said to you guys last week, this was going to be Vrabel's swan song. He was going to leave after this, if not just get fired. Don't be surprised if he ends up in New England next season, my friends. So just a little heads up here if you want Ricky's predictions. But the outright cover, very easy bet. We had the Falcons in there +3, the Saints punching them in the mouth. Derek Carr decided to show up in December and cost me a lot of money as I routinely faded the Saints. Shout out to them. Shout out Jameis Winston for going ahead and giving Jamal Williams that touchdown. You want my take on it? You don't like it? Fucking stop them. Victory formation shenanigans. And I'll tell you this, that will come back around next year. I'm hoping the Falcons play the Saints week 1 because I will be buying, my friends. And then finally, the Bears +3 at 1265 Lombardi. I told you to back the Bears in this position, and I love that I was wrong. The Packers, I was front row 1 in the end zone, watching the Bears absolutely come up with one of the worst game plans I've ever seen. They came in there, they said, we're just going to run the ball, and it was the wrong decision as the Packers not only cover, but outright win, of course. Tremendous day at Lambeau Field. There was so much fun to be had. So money I'm happy to burn, but, I faded my own team, and I did that out of love for you guys because I did feel that the trend was there to back it. And then I got to drive home and listen to Chicago radio burn down, but I digress. I don't want to rub it in too much, my friends. But unfortunately, that left us with a losing week. And if we had just gone 2-1, we would have had a positive year. Even with all the chicanery, even with all the variants working against us, that's how close it is, my friends. But that's okay. I had mentioned honorably the Texans -1. I told you it wasn't an official pick because of the number moving over. And honestly, I don't think the Texans win that game if Goodson just catches the ball. But, their luck ran out. So Texans outright. I'm going to tell you a little bit here. I am looking at the wild card weekend. I'll get to that in a second. But I did visit Lambeau Field with a very good friend of mine. My boss, Brady, decided to take me out all the way to Lambeau Field, and it was quite the experience visiting Titletown, getting a Butterburger at Kroll's. My friends, if you ever get a chance to visit your favorite NFL team's place, please enjoy it. Just dive into it. Don't worry about money. Just enjoy all that it has to offer. It was a tremendous time, win or lose, But yeah, it's been a great year. And I'm not going to get out of here without giving you guys a little taste of Wild Card Weekend. Now, for the sake of our contest, it is over. I had my opportunity. But if I still have an ounce of your trust left, I am going to give you a couple little picks here. My first one here is the Rams +3.5, a number that is moving to the 3 as we speak. Recording here on a Tuesday, as we always do. The Lions decided to go ahead and be balls to the wall and play all their guys last week, and it cost them. It cost them arguably the best tight end in football right now, which is Sam Laporta. He's going to miss this game. And that's a big deal. Um, and you've got Goff with the revenge narrative at home. He is going to be playing fired up, but Stafford, he's that dude here. This team is loaded with weapons. I love that they're getting points, especially the hook. If you can get the hook, please, please get it. I wouldn't be surprised if this number bounces back and forth. So that's my big, strong, confident bet. Take the Rams, a public dog, unfortunately, but I'm happy to back him here against this Lions team that I think gambled a little bit too much against the Vikings last week and played everyone in every snap and went forward on fourth down. So back the Rams plus 3.5. And then I've got the Eagles for you. Monday Night Football against the Buccaneers. This one, it's tough to handicap at this moment on a Tuesday because we don't know the status of Baker Mayfield. He's really banged up. He got really hurt, shoulder, ankle, a lot going on there. But I do like the Eagles at 3. I grabbed it just in case it moves. If news does come out that Baker cannot play in this game, and don't be surprised if it does come to fruition. But Eagles, they've just been laying down and laying down. It's time to buy. All right. That's what we do. We buy low, sell high. Okay. So this is time to buy low on the Eagles. And I think professionals will be backing me on this one as they've already moved it from the 2.5 to the 3. So take the Eagles. And then just a lean for you here. I do like the Bills minus 10 against the Steelers this weekend. TJ Watt's not going to be playing. Now, here's the deal. This line was at 7. TJ Watt was announced that he was going to miss this game. It moved 3 entire points, which I would give TJ Watt 2 points, solid. 3, I'm not sure. 10 is a lot. It is a lot. But I like the Bills at home. The Steelers, they're fugazi. I don't really like them here. They barely beat the backups of the Ravens without Kyle Hamilton, without Lamar Jackson or Odell or Zay Flowers. I think that this is the time for the Bills. And honestly, I think they're kind of live here to even get pretty far here in the postseason. I'll leave that one be. And as for the Packers, my friends, what happens in Wild Card Weekend is a lot of favorites tend to cover. It's very chalk. I personally think that 7.5 is too much for the Packers, and this has no emotion attached to it because we're talking about our money and we don't attach emotion to our money. But I do like the Packers. I lean that way, plus 7.5 against the Cowboys. I still expect the Cowboys to win. It's been a great ride, but if you're really like me, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be just sprinkling a little bit of cash on the Packers money line because why not? It's my team. But Packers plus 7.5 to the lean for you. But make sure to grab that Rams plus 3.5. Grab the Eagles, my friends. It's been a tremendous, tremendous year. And I just want to kick it over to the guys here if they have any questions for me or anything that they'd like to add here as we get out of here with Ricky's picks.
We want to just say thanks, number one, for being here every week. We're going to give you a few more sample sizes, get a little bigger, grow your, one bet away here and there. Maybe somebody didn't join you till week 8. Who knows? So, again, we appreciate you being here. Fellas, anybody want to add anything or ask any questions?
I'm just
Good
saying,
luck.
we have
Go
a
ahead.
legal sports book here in Colorado. If you guys want to make a weekend out of this one time, we could have some fun.
I like it, Gobo. I like it. Thanks, Ricky. We'll see you. We'll see you around, bud.
Go
Thanks,
Pack
Bobby.
Go.
So,
Like you said, good
what do
luck.
you think next year about when we do our preseason show? You do a education show and kind of tell people what like +3, -10, and all that shit means, because I personally have no idea. So I would love to know at some point what that looks like, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people that watch this that would be interested in betting if they had any idea how it worked.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd be happy to educate more. Again, that was another mission of mine with Ricky's Picks this year, and I'm glad you brought that up. I offered a lot of lessons of the week. Even if you guys go back and look at all my segments from your show, there will be a lot of lessons to be learned there. But I can definitely talk about the more numbers and what exactly the basics are of gambling. But always tried to educate as best I could going along here because it is important that we watch our bankrolls and how we gamble and the money that's attached to it. So yeah. I appreciate you guys very much, but I'll get out of here so you guys can take us away. But this has been Ricky's Picks with Ricky Montalvo, and I will see all of you in the wild card trenches.